Hello everyone, it is I, Darkscream217, and I just finished watching Ikki Tousen this afternoon on DVD that I borrowed from a friend of mine just to see how it is. And for the record, for those who don't know, Ikki Tousen is actually one of the DVDs have been released by Funimation. It was originally a Geneon licensed title, I believe, but since Geneon went down under, someone had to pick up the remains, and out of all the things that Funimation wanted to pick up, it was Ikki Tousen. Now, some people left a couple channel comments on my video after I announced I was going to do this rant today, and to those who think I was going to praise the anime, you really haven't paid attention to my update video, because, well, Ikki Tousen is fucking horrible. Okay, I will try to be as fair as possible giving out my review, but it's not going to be easy at all, for there's like only one or two things I like about the show. I tried to like this anime too. I tried to give it a chance. I tried to see what my friends liked it. And yes, two friends of mine, one of them who bought the show and one of them who was borrowing it earlier, that I decided to take from him and told my other friend who originally owns the copy that I wanted to borrow this just because I wanted to do another anime review. And I wanted to see the positive aspects, to see what my friends liked about it. And FYI, my friends, they're not nerdy retards. They're actually good friends of mine that I've known for almost 10 years of my life. And these are the reasons why they like the show. They say it has a good storyline, they say the animation's good. I don't know what their thoughts on the fan service are, and if you've seen any Ikki Tousen review in the world, you realize that the fan service seems to be a major problem with this anime. But there are a lot more things wrong with this anime that I will cover on later. Anyway, I wasn't able to find why my friends enjoyed this show. And by the way, if any of you guys are watching, I'm sorry. I tried to enjoy it, but I was unable to. And yeah, it's probably because my friends have a more positive attitude towards TV shows and stuff. They're not Nancy negatives like me. They're more Percy positives. But you know what? Let's try to get this review done, and I wanted to make sure it goes under the 30-minute length. Alright. Ikki Tousen. This is the storyline behind Ikki Tousen. It's about 7 schools in the Kanto region of Japan, duking out against each other in an all-out war, and each of these students, and it's just the students who are fighting against each other, by the way. We don't even see teachers of their high schools in that show. And these students, they're known as fighters, and each of these fighters wear sacred jewels called magatamas, which have within them the spirits of these warriors from the Three Kingdoms era of China, which also determines the bearer's fate as well. So, if they were to die a very tragic death sometime during the Three Kingdoms era, they might actually have to repeat that process like their ancestors did, or their previous incarnations. So, basically, what you get is a Japanese high school Street Fighter version of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And within itself, it is a very stupid idea. Really dumb. But I believe that any idea, good or bad, can do well if executed properly. Unfortunately, this idea gets aborted real fast by a lot of things. Inappropriate fan service, ridiculous dialogue, bad soundtrack altogether, and really, really poor animation. And, you know, for an anime that's supposed to be focused on martial arts, and, you know, people fighting against each other, animation should be like your first priority, and when it comes to, you know, animation in general. I'm not a big fan of Naruto, but guess what? As much as this leaves a very nasty taste in my mouth, Naruto is a better animated show than Ikki Tousen. Alright, but let me cover some of the characters of the show first. I mean, there's not much to say, but I should give you guys a brief description of a couple of characters. Let's start with the main character, Hakufu-san Saku. And if you can't memorize that name, just call her Booby Bombs. That's what everyone nicknamed her in that show anyway. Okay, she enters Nanyo Academy and is supposedly destined to unite the 7 schools at war together. Whatever, but there's 2 things you need to know about Sunsaku. 1, she is really stupid. And I mean really, really stupid. The anime will tell you that several times throughout each episode. Hell, in episode 5, I think it was proven that she couldn't even read. And 2, as a fighter, she sucks. She really, really sucks. See, she can't really win a fight on her own. The only reason why she's kicking people's asses for the entire season... Oh, by the way, did I forget to tell you? Ikki Tousen has 2 more seasons after the first one. Yeah, a show this bad gets 2 more seasons, which tells people sex sells. It may not be the right method, but it's true. It's not right in my opinion, but it's true, sadly. Sex does sell. It's the only reason why this show is went on for 2 more seasons. Well, anyway, back to Sunsaku. See, the reason why she is beating up everyone in the entire season is because within her sacred jewel, that's supposed to be the soldier of course, the same name, Sunsaku. It has a little dragon spirit called the Shohao, which gets her into this ecstatic berserk state where she gets all homicidal and very strong and beats opponents up to the point where she's going to kill him or her. So in essence, you just basically got a more ridiculously fucked up version of the murderous intent from Ryu in the Street Fighter series. And this happens to almost every fight she's in this anime. And in the scenes where she doesn't do it, well, she just loses. She loses the Big Fighters tournament in the middle of the series. And then there's the male protagonist, Shuryu Koken, Hakufu's cousin, and supposedly her protector. And he only wants to make sure that Hakufu's little dragon spirit doesn't awake within her. And if you can tell watching the show, he really doesn't do a good job at it. Also, he's not that good at a fighter either. I can only remember 2 fights he's been off the... there's only 2 fights I can remember off the top of my head that he was in. And he got his ass kicked off camera. And I believe they were both in the same episode. Episode 2, to be exact. The next character that I want to talk about is Shime Ryomo. She's some sort of a submission specialist. She has blue hair and she wears some sort of medical eye patch on her left eye. And she's one of the big 4 of Nanyo Academy along with Saji, Kane, and Gakushu. Now, this is one of the few characters that I could have liked in this anime. Unfortunately, her signature outfit happens to be a blue mini-skirted French maid outfit. Yeah, that's exactly what I think when it comes to fighting. Seriously, in the first episode where she beats up Gakushu, she got his wrist handcuffed and was pulling his arms to his back. And then while she was doing that, she was posing on top of his head, and you could see that her ass is sticking out right behind his head. That's how shameless this bitch is. As a matter of fact, all the female characters are pretty fucking shameless. One of the other characters, Ryofu, she doesn't wear a bra, and I think she's bisexual. She rapes Ryomo later on in the middle of the series, before the Big Fires tournament, which only lasted like 2.5 episodes. And she also gets into a couple sex scenes, one with a guy, Saji, and one with a girl whose name I can't remember off the top of my head, but she's supposed to be Ryofu's friend or whatever. Either way, she gets killed shortly before Ryofu does. But yeah, she was a really slutty character, and I did not like her one bit. And as for the rest of the characters, I wish I could say there's a lot of good things about them, but they've been poorly scripted and very underdeveloped in this show.